You've spent 40 minutes steaming organic sweet potatoes, cutting them into perfect bite-sized cubes and arranging them artistically on a BPA-free suction plate. You sit down, exhausted, hoping for 5 minutes of peace. And then, it happens. Your toddler looks you dead in the eye, picks up a handful of that hard work, and launches it across the room like they're auditioning for a major league pitching contract. To you, it's a mess. It's a ruined rug. It's another 15 minutes of scrubbing on your hands and knees. But to your toddler, this wasn't an act of rebellion. It wasn't a no to your cooking. It was a high-level physics experiment. Welcome back to Baby's Mind Secrets. Today, we're peeling back the curtain on one of the most frustrating yet fascinating phases of early childhood, the psychology of the food thrower. We're going to talk about a hidden developmental stage that most parents have never heard of, the trajectory schema, and why your child needs to throw that broccoli to actually grow their brain. By the end of this video, you won't just understand why they do it, you'll have a step-by-step psychological toolkit to reclaim your dinner time. Let's dive in. 1. The scientist in the high chair. The first thing we have to do as parents is reframe the behavior. We often view food throwing through the lens of disrespect or naughtiness. We think, I gave them this food and they're rejecting it. But in the world of developmental psychology, your toddler isn't a rebel. They're a scientist. Specifically, they're entering a phase called the trajectory schema. A schema is basically a mental blueprint. It's a repetitive pattern of behavior that allows children to explore and express specific developing ideas. Think of it like a software update for their brain. The trajectory schema is one of the very first ones to go live. It's all about movement. Your toddler is suddenly obsessed with how things move through space. When they drop a spoon, they aren't trying to annoy you. They are studying gravity 101. Distance. How far can this go? Velocity. If I flick my wrist, does it go faster? Acoustics. Does the pasta make a different sound than the plastic cup when it hits the tile? Their high chair is their laboratory. When they throw food, they are gathering data points. They are learning that the world has predictable physical laws. This is the foundation of mathematical and scientific thinking. So while you see a mess, their brain sees a successful experiment in spatial awareness. 2. The social experiment. Cause and effect. But it's not just about physics. There's a deep social psychological layer here too. This is the cause and effect stage. Around the age of 12 to 18 months, toddlers begin to realize that they are separate individuals from their parents. This is a massive psychological shift. They are discovering their agency, the ability to make things happen in their environment. Throwing food is one of the most powerful ways to test this agency. Think about the payoff from a toddler's perspective. They drop a piece of cheese. Effect A, the dog runs over and eats it. Exciting. Effect B, mom makes a funny gasp sound. Entertainment. Effect C, dad jumps up and starts a game of picking it up and putting it back. Interaction. Your reaction is the effect. If every time they throw a pea, you provide a big energetic reaction, even if it's a frustrated one, you are inadvertently reinforcing the behavior. To a toddler, a big reaction is a good reaction. It means they've successfully manipulated their environment. They've pressed a button, and the parent robot did something interesting. They aren't trying to be bad. They are trying to understand the social boundaries of their world. They're asking, what happens if I do this? Does the rule stay the same every time? Now, before we get into the sensory science and the actual solutions, let's take a quick sanity break. If you are currently watching this while hiding in the pantry eating the good snacks so you don't have to share, or if you've ever found a fossilized chicken nugget under your fridge 3 months after the fact, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're building a community here at Baby's Mind Secrets for parents who want to understand the why without the judgment. We provide the science, you provide the patience and the wet wipes. Hit the bell icon so you don't miss our next deep dive into the tiny, chaotic minds we love so much. And seriously, leave a comment below. What is the strangest thing your toddler has ever launched across the room? For me, it was a bowl of oatmeal that somehow defied physics and ended up on the ceiling fan. Your turn. Let's commiserate in the comments. 3. Sensory exploration and proprioception. Back to the science. We've talked about physics and social boundaries, but there's a third pillar, sensory integration. Toddlers are sensory seekers. Everything is new. The texture of mashed potatoes is vastly different from the texture of a cracker. When a toddler squishes food in their hands and then flings it, they are engaging in proprioceptive input. Proprioception is our internal sense of our body in space. It tells us how much force to use when we pick up a glass or how hard to kick a ball. By throwing food, toddlers are calibrating their muscles. They are feeling the weight of the food, the release of the grip, and the feedback from their arm muscles. There is also the aesthetic of the splat. Psychologists have noted that toddlers are often fascinated by transforming schemas, how things change shape. A round blueberry becomes a flat purple smear on the floor. To us, it's a stain. To them, it's art. It's a transformation they caused. Furthermore, we have to consider autonomy. Meal times are one of the few times in a toddler's day where they have some semblance of control. They can't choose when they nap, what they wear, or where they go, but they can choose what goes into their mouth and what goes onto the floor. Throwing food is often a nonverbal way of saying I am done, or I want to be the boss of this moment. 4. Is it hunger or boredom? Before we fix the behavior, we have to diagnose the state. Not all food throwing is created equal. If your toddler throws food at the beginning of the meal, it's usually the trajectory schema, exploration, or attention seeking. They have energy and they want to play. If they throw food at the end of the meal, it's almost always a communication issue. They lack the verbal skills to say, "Mother, I've reached my caloric limit for this sitting, and I would like to go play with my wooden blocks now." Instead, they throw the plate. A toddler's stomach is roughly the size of their clenched fist. They get full much faster than we think. Once the hunger drive is gone, the entertainment drive takes over. If the food is still sitting there, it ceases to be fuel and becomes projectiles. Understanding this distinction is the key to the solution. How to handle the behavior. Okay, let's get practical. How do we honor their developmental need to throw things without turning our kitchen into a war zone? Here are the 4 psychological steps to handle food throwing. Step 1. The no thank you bowl. Toddlers often throw food because they don't want it on their tray anymore. It's clutter to them. Provide a specific bowl or a corner of the tray and call it the no thank you spot. Teach them, if you don't want it, put it here. This gives them a physical out for the food that doesn't involve the floor. Step 2. The low drama response. Remember the social experiment. Stop being the entertainment. When they throw something, don't gasp, don't yell, and don't immediately dive to pick it up. Keep your face neutral. Calmly say, "Food stays on the tray. If you throw, I think you are all done." If they do it again, the meal is over. No anger, just a logical consequence. Step 3. Teach the all done sign. Since throwing is often a sign of being full, give them a better way to say it. Teach them the sign for all done, waving hands, or the words. As soon as they give the sign, praise them and let them down immediately. This reinforces that communication works better than chaos. Step 4. Feed the schema outside the kitchen. If your child is in a heavy trajectory schema, they need to throw. So, give them yes spaces. Spend 15 minutes before dinner throwing softballs into a basket, launching paper airplanes, or dropping beanbags from a height. If you fill their movement tank before they sit in the high chair, they'll be much more likely to sit still during the meal. Parenting a toddler is a marathon, not a sprint. It's easy to feel like you're failing when you're scraping yogurt off the baseboards for the 3rd time today. But remember, that mess is a sign of a healthy, curious, and developing brain. You aren't raising a naughty kid. You're raising a scientist who is just starting to figure out how the world works. If you found this deep dive helpful, please give us a like. It really helps the channel reach more tired parents who need to hear this. Your next step? Check out our video on the psychology of toddler tantrums right here, where we break down what's happening in the brain when the meltdown begins. Thanks for watching Baby's Mind Secrets. Keep exploring, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next one.